The Tomb Raider franchise has not one, but 2 new game announcements. One is for a remake of an older game, and the other one is brand new. Let's check them both out. This is Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. I think the game they're remaking is the one that I checked out in the first look last year? It was the remastered Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3. I played a little bit of that, and I'll give my thoughts on... I think it's this one, right? I'll give my thoughts on what I thought about it, again, after we watch this.
It's been years.
No more crystal dynamics.
But the events are still etched in my memory.
Oh, okay. Crystal dynamics still here.
Lost worlds. Frozen in time. New discoveries. Waiting behind every door. Across every chasm.
Oh my god, that's almost inhuman.
I didn't know then the path this adventure would send me on.
There's dinosaurs in this one, huh?
But it lit a fire that still burns. I need to see more. I need to go further. To uncover the secrets of Atlantis.
Sorry, I'm just watching. I'm not saying too much right now. I recognize some of the earlier puzzles from my first look.
Some legends are destined to be retold.
Nice. 2026. Okay, I think some of them... They didn't even... Oh, they did it too early. They're a little end screen.
Lost worlds.
I recognize some of these scenes. I think I saw this in my first look. So when I played it, a little bit of it last year, I thought it seemed like a good enough remaster. Like, they overhauled the graphics, made it sharper, but at the same time, the controls were, oh my goodness, I think they were still like how it was back in the day, and it was just extraordinarily unwieldy. Like, I like playing that 1 hour, but then I also couldn't imagine myself playing more just because of the controls. So that was that. And it looks like if they're remaking it, then, well, I would expect modern controls. That wouldn't be too much to ask for, right? My impression seeing this, well, the original Tomb Raider games were more like puzzle platformers, adventuring, the Indiana Jones swinging from vine to vine, archaeological discoveries, that type of thing. Whereas the newer Tomb Raider trilogy, the Survivor trilogy, it went for a bit of a different thing. So it's a remake of an older game, and it feels like, to me, it's what the older games are, but like, you know, with a new veneer. And then the other one, Tomb Raider Catalyst. The next all-new entry in the Tomb Raider series, coming 2027. That's all it says here. Not actual gameplay.
The entire world knows your legend. You survived the Dragon's Triangle.
That's from the Survivor trilogy.
The threshold to Atlantis. I've heard a dozen told tales that say you're unstoppable. But I say, all legends must come to an end.
So this is very clearly more cinematic and closer to the Survivor trilogy.
That's where you're wrong. I'm just getting started.
That's the voice of... It's Samantha Trainer from Mass Effect 3. It's not Camilla Luddington. Sorry, Samantha Trainor's actress's name, I think, is Alex Regan. Tomb Raider Catalyst. not much in the way of showing any gameplay yet, and this one's gonna be even further out, just basically telling you, hey, we're making this. Is Crystal Dynamics is still part of it? Okay, but I know it's because Square Enix sold the whole thing, and there's all sorts of change of hands, and now I guess Amazon, have they made anything? Amazon is the primary game studio on this. Well, if they haven't made anything yet, then it's hard to judge by, quality of work and all that. Yeah, I'm just gonna fact check this one here. Dragon's Triangle, did that concept appear in the previous Tomb Raider games at all? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I think this was just a thing that was in the newer trilogy. So they're mentioning it here because they're saying, oh, we acknowledge that those things in the recent trilogy happened. And then the Atlantis, that's basically where the other trailer that we looked at was. So there's a bit of a combination of different timelines here. Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is a extremely recognizable figure, probably the most recognizable female character on the planet, right? And there's just been so many different entries of her escapades and all that, so I guess they're trying to signal that, yeah, they're trying to make a game that's considering all these different things. I think there's a lot of different kinds of people who like Tomb Raider these days. There's people who like the original game back in the 90s. They liked the game because it was doing all the puzzle and the exploration stuff. But then the newer trilogy, where I became a little bit more familiar with Tomb Raider, that was a more narrative-based thing with a younger Lara who was much more unsure and unconfident about herself. So they're taking into consideration these things, and now they're making... this Lara seems like she doesn't have any confidence issues. She also looks completely different from the Survivor trilogy, but then even within that trilogy, they updated Lara's face like 5 times, so I'm not surprised. She's already expert level here.
Say, all legends
Skills-wise,
must come to an end.
it is jarring though because it's different. But yeah, again, Tomb Raider is just such a recognizable franchise that it's like
That's where you're wrong.
comic books. You have a whole bunch of different identities for the same character. Even the way, the clothing reminds me a little bit of the Survivor trilogy as well. But yeah. Interesting. I'm keeping a lookout for it, but I've played all 3 in the Survivor trilogy, starting with Tomb Raider 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and while those games have always been very technically impressive, I thought the narratives were the weakest part of the package by a pretty big margin. My favorite story of the 3 is actually the first game, 2013, and then I still remember when I played Shadow, clearly, technologically, they had it all down, but that game also felt like it was very lacking in vision. Like it didn't know what it wanted to be. In part because of that tug between the older and the newer Tomb Raider players. Do we want a linear narrative adventure where the primary thing we're doing is killing the bad guys? Or do we want the focus to be on the puzzles and solving all these archaeological tombs? It just felt like its identity was completely caught between these things. I do remember when I finished playing Shadow, I said something like, I hope they can figure it out, like just rest the franchise and figure it out. It has been a long time since then already. Shadow came out in 2018. I am ready to give this a chance if they know what they're doing. I would have liked to see a direct continuation from the Survivor trilogy, but I think it's okay. Like, they want to start with a semi-clean slate. I don't know if we're going to see returning characters like Jonah or even Sam coming back. Fat chance. But, yeah, like, I'm ready. I'm receptive to this. I don't think technology and the graphics were ever the problem with this franchise. I just hope the narrative is engaging, especially since the Uncharted series has finished. I think it could definitely fill that kind of spot that, people are yearning for. I think between the two, I would be personally a little bit more excited for Catalyst, but I can very easily imagine that older fans would be more excited for the remake. And we get both. We don't have to pick. I'll probably casually keep a lookout for the remake, but I think most of my attention is probably going to be placed here. How about you? Which kind of Tomb Raider adventures do you want?